Foster families provide a very important role for many children throughout the state of Alaska. These foster families provide a safe and supportive temporary home for these children.
Well, the reason I became a foster mom, I didn't have kids of my own, and I was really curious just about what it was like to parent children. And I was struck by the fact that there were a lot of foster kids that were native out in Anchorage and in Alaska, and there were very few foster families that were native. And I thought maybe that was some way that I could do something like that, and it would be rewarding on both sides.
Dara Lively is an Indian Child Welfare Act specialist. She also feels very strongly concerning the placement of Native children.
I grew up in kind of a combined Native home and Caucasian home and saw the different cultures and values, and my father really made sure that I knew the Native culture and the values that it has to offer. And I see a very strong importance, and I support the Indian Child Welfare Act law in that it is a priority that children need to be placed with Native homes or with Native families.
I see the need for Native families. When I was adopted, when the kids in my family were adopted, that was not a consideration. The cultural matches were not considered at that time. And I just think it's really interesting that all of the kids in my family, the adopted kids, have somehow tried to reconnect with their cultural roots. And so for me, it's meaningful, again, on a personal level, to have kids experience their background and their heritage, give them that opportunity.
Meggie McQuaid is a community care licensing specialist for DFYS. One of Maggie's first experiences out of college was in Arizona working with Hopi Indians.
Kept those people really in my heart. I think about them a lot, and they still inspire me a whole lot. So I've always been interested in not so much helping people, but trying to get people the information and the tools they need to get what they want to get done in life. I feel just really in my heart that placing Native families or Native kids with Native families is something that we're obligated to do in many ways, not just legally.
In most cases, when a Native child is placed in a Native foster family from a different tribe, it appears the cultural continuity can be a benefit to the child.
When a child is removed from the home, it's so traumatic anyway, and so to place them in a non-Native home is more of a culture shock, whereas it can be more of a smooth transition if they go into a Native foster home where they have similar values or similar cultural aspects in their life and lifestyles without the abuse and neglect. It's important to work with the tribes and have their support as well so that we can work together in gaining compliance of the ICWA law and placing children with Native families rather than non-Native families.
In Anchorage, we have about 300 foster homes licensed. Of all of those, about 20 identify themselves as Native foster homes. Only about 6 of the 20 homes are available to take in general placement, so those would be homes available to take care of any Native child that entered custody. So if you can look at the numbers, we don't have an awful lot of Native foster homes, and we really need them.
There are requirements to becoming a foster parent, some of which include being a good role model, no history of domestic violence or child abuse. You could be a single parent. They don't ask about your earnings, just that foster care is not your only source of income.
I think the most important requirements for anyone are a stable family, an ability to care for kids, and a desire to help and care for children.
It's really important that if we can get people to understand that there are kids out there that just need a little bit of extra added help and support, that it can make a big difference. And also for me, I think it's just let me know that I can do the parenting, and it can be fun. You know, it's special. So I think that's primarily the reasons.
For Heartbeat Alaska, this is Jackie Andrew.